Very good morning to you. Welcome to the Morning Brief right here on Channels Television. I'm Jeffrey Uzama. The month is literally racing. Good morning, Bukola.
Indeed. I was just about to say, when did we celebrate Christmas? And we had all that festive performances right here on the show. And it's already January the 29th. Well, it's a beautiful Wednesday morning.
28th, by the way. You added a date.
Okay, so I'm racing faster than the month.
Yes, I had to check it out.
Yes, indeed. And we're grateful to be here again. It's your perfect morning starter on Channels Television. The Morning Brief. I am Bukola Koka. So, Jeffrey, quite a lot to track.
A lot.
Sure. Yes, indeed.
Lot.
From Turkey.
There's a lot. Where do we even start from? Maybe we start from the agitation by the union about the issue around sachet alcohol and all of that, because we've been on this conversation. I remember that the NAFDAC, which is the agency that regulates food and drugs in Nigeria, has had a running battle with the union and the people who produce, who manufacture it. So there are different parts to it. There is the business element, which apparently, because a lot of people consume this sachet alcohol, so there's a market for it. I don't have the data as to how big or the size, but I know that the alcoholic market is quite big around the world. In fact, men are responsible for how big this industry is. So for the low-income earners, the people who, may not be able to buy 40-year-old, 200-year-old scotch and all of those kinds of drinks, they resort to this type just to keep body and soul in their own view together, and as far as this is concerned. But the other element is to the effect that this is contributing to loss of lives, it's contributing to health issues. So if you go to public transport system or parks, as we call it around here, when you're traveling interstate or intrastate, you see that some of the drivers take these things, and you can guess, like you and I can guess, what the results will be when they take this alcohol. So there's a fine line between economy and preservation of lives. But NAFDAC has decided to say, look, we do not want people to be killing themselves, destroying their health, and in the process, destroying the lives of others, especially those who drive on our road. So, but they are saying this is destroying local manufacturers. So, because this is a very delicate conversation.
Absolutely.
Or delicate situation. On one hand, you're talking about economy. On the other hand, when it leads to death, because a lot of people lack moderation when it comes to these things, that's where the trouble is. So, but maybe we'll take a listen, Bukola, to some of the agitators who are saying, the union who are coming together to say, this is anti-local manufacturing. Let's take a listen to them.
You know what it means to lose your job in this economy. So Professor Adeyeye has sacked us from our job, and the companies are being closed down. So we won't watch and see this happening. Because, of course, if you're out of job, your children are out of school too. There will be no food on the table. And so your children will also take to other social vices if they're out of school. So the protection is, she's saying she's protecting the children, is not protecting them after all. So that's why we are here to protest the ban and for her to rescind her decision.
The only food and beverage sector of the Nigerian economy that is surviving now is what Madam DG NAFDAC want to close. And the reason why we are here is to call on the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to tell him to call Madam DG to order to rescind her decision, open back our factories. The policy that was being formulated, which is in the embryo by the House of Rep, that report should be visited, and let access control be the way forward. Let the government unban our product, open up our industry, then there can be a dialogue, not by shutting down the system. You don't shut down the system, you don't shut down people out of job just because you think that there are things that are wrong, which actually are not wrong. Because as far as we are concerned, this is what they call the hand of Jacob and the voice of Esau. Now somebody somewhere is triggering the DG NAFDAC to do what she is doing. And if care is not taken, this is going to have a very adverse effect on the Nigerian economy. And that is what we don't want to happen.
Because at the end of the day, Bukola, at the end of the day, everybody has their point. But were there set conditions that NAFDAC, why am I calling INEC? What's the problem? Were there set conditions by NAFDAC to say, if you don't do this, this is what we will do eventually? So that's what I'm curious about. But we can tell that this is dangerous as far as the lives of people are concerned, their health, and then the accident that we record on the road, especially for manufacturing of sachet alcohol. We cannot discountenance that element, because no matter what kind of business you're doing, if it affects people to the point where deaths and health issues resonate with it, then it's no longer acceptable. But it is also a business that would like to see maybe how to manage for it to survive.
I have an answer to one of your questions, which is an important one. And, you know, this is a conversation that didn't start today. It's as old as about 7-year-old conversation. And I'm reading from a statement issued by NAFDAC in 2024 on this ongoing subject of concern. It was on the ban on alcohol in sachet and bottles below 200 ml container. And the statement says, the Association of Food, Beverage and Tobacco Employers, AFBT, and Distillers and Blenders signed an agreement with the Ministry of Health and NAFDAC and FCCPC in 2018 December that they will phase out the production of alcohol in sachet and PET bottles less than 200 ml by January the 31st, 2024. The agreement document is available, and so we can ask NAFDAC to help recall it as an agency under the Ministry of Health. Well, the statement continues by saying that a 5-year phase-out notice should be sufficient for the association. And it goes on to say that Nigeria was one of the 193 member states of the WHO that reached a historical consensus on global strategy to reduce the harmful use of alcohol by adopting resolution WHA 6313 at the 63rd session of the World Health Organization held in Geneva in 2010. Now, Jeffrey, as you said, it's a delicate balance between the genuine concern of the protesters, that is the members of the Association of Distillers, and the concern of the Federal Ministry of Health being advocated by the agency, a relevant agency, NAFDAC in this case. And I saw one of the placards, you know, carried by one of the members, you know, protesting, which says there's no empirical evidence to suggest that indeed the consumption of alcohol in PET bottles can be directly related to, perhaps youthful exuberance. I didn't see the complete statement on the placard, but I thought it had to do with a matter on health. Indeed, we need to interrogate that as well. As much as these people want to protect their businesses, they have families, they put food on the table, we must also factor in that into the conversation as well. We've had huge numbers, of accident on our roads, and more often than not, some of them are related to human error, drunken driving, and, associated issues. So if that is the case, if that is part of the conversation, how do we come on a table of understanding to deal sufficiently with the issues at hand? How can these distillers, these workers in the distilleries, how can they be absorbed into other sectors in the manufacturing, sector, such that there are no job losses incurred? Are these conversations also part of, ongoing talks in the last 7 years, since about 2018, I believe, from this statement with NAFDAC? Those are the issues that we should factor into the conversation as well, without necessarily going ahead and, capturing one side of the conversation. It's as Chimamanda would have said, the danger of a one-sided story. So two truths can coexist at the same time in this particular one. So let's look at all sides concerned. And I'm looking forward to an interaction with members of the Distillers Association, such that we can understand all of the implications. Jeffrey.
Well, we'll continue to follow and see how it eventually pans out, so that we balance the conversation. But I'm sure that everybody needs to come to the table. Absolutely. And look at this and say, okay, where do we draw the fine line? Mm-hmm. What is in the excess? What is within the limit? What is in the band, if you will, that we can accommodate? Because on one hand, you want to allow the economy, local economy, to be running. On the other hand, we want to preserve lives as much as possible. But from there, we go to the issue of the national grid collapsing. You know, I almost try to avoid talking about the national grid because I have always said it will not stop collapsing. And it's not a Tinubu's problem. It's a Nigerian problem. I haven't seen so much action, but I think I was reading from one of his advisors yesterday on social media, some bonds or some securities has been secured, that's been gotten in terms of, let's call it borrowing, if you will, if I stand to be corrected, where they will get some money from the private sector for liquidity in the system, because liquidity within the operators is also a challenge. I think government is in debt as well to them. I don't know how that has been sorted. There's also the part of some part of the electricity supply chain. Some people are being subsidized. Those in Band A were not subsidized. The rest are subsidized. But the big problem here is the fact that the national grid has not been maintained as it should have been maintained. So what we're dealing with now is a question of just managing. It's a chronic problem. I'm not an expert in the power sector, so I don't know how this will be resolved. But if Nigerians are expecting this power grid to stop collapsing, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
But Jeffrey, let's be fair.
It's not going to happen anytime soon.
Unlike, is it 2024 now, where we had a record 12 collapses?
Yeah.
It has actually reduced significantly. And that demonstrates that there must have been something significantly different that has been done, you know, not business as usual.
These are remedial measures
in the Ministry of Power,
yes,
that, you know, brought us to a new regime, and that needs to be sustained. However, this is about the third or fourth collapse that grid collapse that we're recording
in that 2024 that you talked about.
Yes.
We also had those kinds of situations that people were like, this thing is collapsing every AK market day. I'm saying that there is a fundamental structural problem within this sector. There's a fundamental mistake that has been made over the years. So when they say something is chronic, it means you have to live with it until maybe it's taken out entirely by miracle, if it's health, or, you know, so for this particular one, what is supposed to be done without getting into detail has not been done. So we just have to keep managing. So good management of the technical element could allow us to have, for it not to collapse for 3 months, 6 months. But collapse, it shall. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying it now and again.
I'd like to be
when
positive.
This is restored. No, it's not about, I don't understand. I don't know what you mean by being positive. The national, let me say it again. I've said it before. The national grid will continue to collapse until there's a literal overhaul of the entire framework. I'm using a policy statement now, but it's more of a technical thing.
I'm not being optimistic just on the strength of optimism, you know, just on the strength of mere positivity, but on, you know, based on evidence of what we have seen in the last couple of months, and that will be from the beginning of 2025 up until now, as against what obtained in 2024. If something different has been done, then that template needs to be sustained. Then it also, what we are seeing in the last couple of months also suggested that somewhere someone may have dropped the ball, and, you know, that needs to be looked into. We've had this conversation recently. I don't want to speak on residual knowledge about, you know, the expertise that was provided that saw, you know, a new regime of things being done differently to bring us to a better place as against what obtained in 2024. But where are we is significantly better, and that is where my optimism comes from.
No, I agree with your optimism.
You have a point on the technicality of it all, on the funding part of it all, on lack of maintenance that we saw.
It's very expensive.
Yes, and I recall
very expensive.
The National Assembly had a debate on this, and, you know, revelations came through back in 2024 that each time the grid collapsed, thousands of dollars was deployed for maintenance, and, you know, that was something that could not be ignored. Yes.
So it's you know, what we're saying is that I just feel that it's not fair to give Nigerians false hope. The day we fix it, I think we will all know. But for now, I'm saying that things have been done from what I understand, but we are not there yet when we're going to sit down and say, Bukola, this grid will not collapse again. No, we've not arrived there. So I can prophesy, if you will, but all jokingly anyway, that it will collapse again, but it will be restored again. So we just keep, because the bigger picture here is that we need to get this done as quickly as yesterday, because this is economy. The fulcrum of any economy sits on infrastructure. The number one infrastructure is power. And then you can talk about production, and then you can talk about technology. Power you need for your private life, for businesses, for industrialization. What is it you want to do as far as nation building is concerned that you're not going to talk about power, road, but power. Even to build the road, you need some level of power to manufacture the things that are used to build the road. So you see how critical power is. So I don't want false hope. I don't like to delude myself on these things. And it's also important to share with Nigerians that don't lower your expectations. But when the government has done what it should do, because they inherited all of this mess, then maybe we're going to see changes. But beyond that, the president's incident, the fall that happened in Turkey, the president is an old man. So let's put down the record. He's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's 73 years old. By my moral bringing, Christian bringing, I would not be laughing at an elderly man who falls, because even young persons fall. I know that a lot of people do not like the president. A lot of people also like him. By his own words, our listening ears when he went to Benue, said they hate me like hell. Those were his words. And if you look at the last election, more people voted against him than voted for him to emerge, if you put all the votes together. But, you know, this happened, and the cameraman did a great job by moving away quickly.
Away from the shot, yes.
But this has raised a lot of concern about his health, his physical strength to be able to carry the responsibility to build a country like as complex as Nigeria, the too many trips. And for me, the bigger thing is, Nigerian presidents deal with their health, they deal with it as though it's, I'm trying to look for the words. Now, for instance, we knew that Biden had, I think, a pager in his heart because he had surgery and all of that. For presidents and those clients, we can be clear that, okay, this is what is wrong with them, so we can empathize with them. But for Nigerian presidents, I think it's for political reasons, they keep to themselves what they're dealing with until it becomes too late in some instances. So that is why you see people feast on these kind of things, because naturally there should have been an empathy for him. As I said, I see him as an old man. So
he's an old man, Jeffrey.
So,
he's 73.
Going around all of this. So it just speaks to, he needs to slow down. That's the point I'm making. They need to be transparent with us about the state of his health. They say he's safe and fine and all of that. We're happy about that.
Yeah.
But the moral of the story is, let's not milk something about the elderly. That's for me. On the other hand, we also need to raise concerns about a young continent with obsession with elderly people. To lead is tough. You may have the mental acumen, but the physical strength to drive it, let's leave it for the young people.
Jeffrey, on this one, I think I'm going to start with the bright side, and for good reason, because during the last administration, you know, you couldn't ignore some of the reports that came through from Aso Rock about, you know, the former president. In fairness to him, God rest his soul, and this is not to talk down the former president, but he wasn't as hands-on as, you know, the president that we now have, who is reported to be hands-on, who is detailed, who has an eye for detail, and, you know, engages with members of his cabinet. Those are the reports coming through from Aso Rock about the president of this current administration, unlike what we heard about how, you know, things were lackluster under the former president, late Muhammadu Buhari. That's on the bright side. So perhaps it's a strength, you know, it's a plus for this administration that we have a president who is hands-on, and we see it in his, you know, many travels, in his international engagements and efforts, you know, to promote Nigeria in the international community. But let's look critically at that video and see that, unlike the president's engagements, perhaps in Nigeria, I was struggling to find some of his aides who are usually, you know, around him, marking close guard and watching for the president. And this is where I interrogate the statement put out by the presidency, saying that the president's fall had nothing to do with, you know, any ill health, but perhaps a poorly laid carpet at the venue. And you know, Nigerians would hardly you know, buy that. We'll take that with a pinch of salt, because this is not the first time that the president, you know, has experienced a fall. And so when the close aides of the president know that his gait, his moves are unsteady. The president is not a young person. He's 73. And so there shouldn't be any pretenses about you know, the walk of the president or his ability to carry himself through, especially in a very demanding public engagement. There needs to be, you know, more attention to the president as he goes about, you know, carrying on his public engagements, whether within the country or outside the country. There shouldn't be any need to make things look, to patch things up, you know, and just leave the president without any close you know, protection as he would normally require. Jeffrey, just take a good look at, you know, how the president is walking, unlike all the other, you know, persons surrounding him who had a healthier gait as they walk through to the venue. And so we demand more from the president's aides. He's still the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the #1 citizen of this country who represents us at home and abroad. And so as long as he remains the president, we need his aides to do better, you know, with protection of the president, especially given his health and his sometimes frail form.
Well, they haven't said he has any health problem. We're just talking about his age.
That is traditional with presidents. Their aides are not forthright with their health condition, but we know what the real situation is from afar. We may not have the details.
Okay, let's move from there to the dailies. What are they saying? We'll be back in just a moment. Let's kick things off and hope our guest analyst can join us. But while we're waiting for him, let's get to this Nigeria. Rising food costs, hunger require urgent action. That's according to this Nigeria. Senate President Akpabio warns on looming food crisis over UN alert that 35 million Nigerians risk hunger. That's slightly over 10% if we look at that number based on the fact that we're between 200 million to 230 or 215. We're not sure because we haven't done the census since 2006 or so. So we're still, you know, just aggregating based on estimation. But the issue of food and rising costs, we know for a fact that because of the twin policy of the president, especially that has to do with fuel subsidy removal, harmonization of the currency that took out the arbitrage and the rent seeking, it has its own ripple effect on the economy, hitting very hard on people, and everything went, you know, extremely high. Where we also saw that food prices come down at some point, but it hasn't arrived where it left off in terms of the beginning before the president Bola Tinubu came in. But this has to do with the Senate president calling the government that is under to say, look, we need to do something. If 35 million people is a report by the UN about issues around food crisis that will affect Nigerians, about 35 million of us. That is a very, very alarming situation. Now, when these things are raised, it's not about making government look bad. It's about calling your attention to say, whatever it is you're doing, you need to be quick and fast. Hunger is the basic of anything. Before you think of clothing, before you think of shelter, food is critical to everybody. So, policy rejigging, I know that some things were done, I think, because that was last year, about some importation or waivers that were given based on certain imports.
The waivers that never came through.
I think it was just very minimal. There were some improvement in at some point.
I doubt that it ever came through.
But it took a lot of time because we kept interrogating.
Yes, we kept interrogating.
Asking the people, when will this happen? But this is where
the pronouncements, the relevant ministries never signed off on it. In fact, they never secured the list of importance that would benefit from the waivers.
So at the end of the day, it's about matching policy statement with real action. These things are doable. We're blessed with arable lands. I know that one of the pronouncements of the president at some point was cultivation of land, hundreds of thousands of hectares of land. I don't know how much that has gone. But there was a time we saw a decrease in the price significantly in certain products across the country. But it looks like we're back there again. So this back and forth has to be sorted as quickly as possible.
And so we need to interrogate, this reports of crash in food prices, often quoted by the aides of the administration under this present government, and ask if indeed the crash in food prices is a result of the slowing down of inflation, or maybe the seasonal periods of harvest of different agricultural food products.
Everything comes to play.
Yeah.
Well, everything.
So yeah, we should interrogate it, because sometimes it would seem like propaganda when aides of the administration quote the crash in food prices. Yes, indeed, some agricultural products have had their prices come down significantly compared to where we started off from in April 2023 or May 2023, as the case may be. But we're seeing that some other staples have held steady with the increase in the price.
So give us the data. Yes, that's why I allow you.
Yes.
I shouldn't say anything about this.
Like, vegetable oil, for instance. I doubt that the price of the brands that you would rather go for as against the ones that are unbranded have ever really come down. And all the other household items that are not that are branded, that are manufactured by different brands, I'd rather not mention them now, but those cereals, I doubt that their prices have ever really come down. So agricultural products, some agricultural products like yam, rice, yes indeed, some have come down. Yam, the price of yam comes down seasonally. Sometimes it goes up, as against what you used to buy for, for a tuber at a time 1,500. You can never find a tuber at 1,500 anymore. You'd find reasonably at 2,500, 3,000, 2,500, you're lucky. But unlike those days where you buy yam in, bundles of 3 or 4 for a very good prices, you don't have those times anymore. So it's a relative outlook in terms of the price of agricultural products coming down significantly, as often quoted by aides of the administration.
Yeah, I think you can go to the next paper. Just at the end of the day, if we have 35 million people in danger, I think we should be alarmed as a country. And this is coming from the United Nations, reaffirmed by the concerns by the Senate President. Bukola, you have the next one.
Speaking of the next paper, let's head over now. I wonder if we'll have Daily Independent ready. Okay, let's head over to the Guardian newspaper this time around, where we're having a report here as the lead story. ADC hosts opposition show of force, unity push ahead of 2027. And so you also see a capturing of the high point of the president's visit to Turkey from yesterday, seen in the big picture on the front page. President Tinubu and President Erdogan. Of course, a partnership has been signed for bilateral trade to increase from what it was to, I think, about 501 billion naira, $1 billion as reported by the presidency. And so for the big story, I wonder if it is the same as being reported by the Daily Independent.
It is.
Yes. The high point of that has got quite a number of people talking. Jeffrey, the book launch of the National Publicity Secretary of the African Democratic Congress, the Loyalist. It will be an interesting book to
Yeah, we're going to have him on the show.
But some of the, sound bites coming through about, what 2027 would look like and how the projections are wrong about, this current administration having a record number of governors, and that positions it to be, the party to beat in 2027 presidential election. Well, we know what presidential elections often look like in this country. All politics is local, and grassroots politics is about the numbers. If you don't have the numbers, you certainly do not have the power at the end of the day when elections are determined. But what is being cited is the departure from the norm of the outcome of the 2023 presidential election, where a record number of votes were scored by a third force in the election. That's about 6.1 million votes. Yes, by the candidate of the Labour Party at the time, of course, who is now a member of the coalition ADC. So is that, something to peg the possibility or the unpredictability of the 2027 presidential election on, that we do not know. But the speaker in this particular soundbite, who is a former Minister of Interior and of course a former ally. Very strong ally.
Yeah. Very strong ally. I call it.
But former now.
Yeah, yes. A former strong ally. Yeah. I call it political hot air. It's everybody. The presidency, they are very confident that this is home run for them. The opposition is saying, don't be too quick. There's even an implosion coming in your own party. You're swelling, and all of the movement is distorting interest. And it's true technically because everybody who is, for instance, in the APC, in those states that were PDP, they had people that had ambition to be governors or to run for the office of governor. Now, the movement has automatically made them, you know, they may have to relax their ambition.
If the Labour Party's emergence and, you know, uncanny ability to build structure and get 6.1 million votes in the presidential election is what is being cited, then maybe the ADC could make a strong showing at the presidential election, depending on the candidate that they decide to present. And that is also causing a debate. But they do not have the requisite structure for governorship elections in a number of states of the Federation currently. And we're looking at their performance based on that.
You know, when it comes to political analytics, I try to took away emotions. There is a Nigerian way of running elections and winning them. APC seem to be getting that right. But ideally, the people decide, like what we had in 2023, where there was this outlier effect. No, it was a shock to everybody, political analysts, pundits, everybody, including the political class, that you don't have a governor, you don't have anybody, and it happened. And in fact, I dare say, if the governorship election had happened the same day the presidential election, most of these governors wouldn't have won elections. Because of that, you know, that movement. So, all of the political juggernauts now, they've learned their lesson, they are making adjustments, realigning, horse trading. But the people will eventually decide who their leader is. That doesn't mean that there cannot be superimposition of political influence like watchers, rigging the system. So you factor in everything, then you can now make a proper analysis to say, but as we speak, the pendulum is very, very, I don't want to go beyond what I'm about to say.
So it's that shock element of it, perhaps it's the shock element of the 2023 presidential election outcome that the ADC is relying upon and has caused this coalition. And perhaps that is what the APC itself is relying upon to ensure that it gets the numbers as seen in the record number of defections that we have seen. But the last point I was going to make on that outing from yesterday, Jeffrey, is the dramatis personae in that soundbite. The former Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, who was a strong ally of this current president. It's quite unbelievable to you know, think or know that at any time in history that it could be in another party different from the party of the president, because they were quite close. And in fact, some said he was the closest of all the political mentees of Mr. President. If you consider the Fasholas of this world, the Okwemi Bamidelis of this world, and there are quite a number of them. And so, Jeffrey, sometimes when I look at the former Minister of Interior, I wonder if this form of, political espionage, is he really?
We don't know.
In the ADC or in the APC and the ADC?
Some it could be strategy, some it could be espionage, some it could be like we're falling out. You will never know. Politics is driven by interest. For Nigerian politicians, for a lot of them is driven by two things, in my view. This is my own enlightened opinion. Self-preservation, so personal interest. And there is no crime in self-preservation. And then there's the issue of subservience to power. People want to have access to power. That is what drives most of these guys. So all of this, in the interest of my people, I don't buy it. If it's in the interest of your people, stay there and lose the election. Let's see. So, but it's within their right. What we're advocating for is for a bit of decency within the political space where people don't just wake up and be jumping around. If you lose, I want the APC to survive. I want the PDP to survive. I want the NNPP to survive. I want Labour, ADC. I want all these parties to survive so that we have if APC wins, okay, everybody go and rest, re-strategize the next election. Then you take the APC out. APC go and put themselves together, maybe take them another 10, 15, 20, whatever. That is how democracy should be. I have seen elections in my studies in the United States where a Republican Party literally won almost all the state, literally almost all the state, over 500 college votes. By the next election, they lost. That is what democracy is about.
Well, beyond the political parties surviving, I want the democracy to thrive for the benefit of the people, not just the political parties.
Well, they are the players that will push up the policies that will make
democracy. It's the political parties that are surviving, but democracy is losing out, and democracy is about the people.
I totally agree with you.
That's what's important.
We'll take a break, and when we come back after this break, the FCTA issues the workers under the ministry of the FCT. Nyesom Wike, the FCT minister, had taken them to, because there were sundry issues about welfare, and we're here between 14 to 22. But what is popular is 14. Well, the government, under Nyesom Wike, said, look, we've met 10. Why are you going on this? And then it ended in the industrial court, where the industrial court has ruled and said, hey, while this case is going on, please go back to work. And the FCT minister has come out to say, if I don't see you at work today, I'm going to come hard on you. Well, his aide, media aide, is joining us. Lero Lainka joins us in just a moment. Stay with us.
The administration has reasonably met the demands of the workers. Initially, we didn't go to court. We believe that that they need to dialogue, that they need to sit down and talk. But when we saw that politicians have been able to hijack the strike, and we felt that we can't fold our arms and we have to go to court. When they talk about wages, and that's why they don't tell the public the truth. 5.something billion, and I say, listen, Acting Head of Service, the Permanent Secretary Treasury, let's start paying. We pay December, we are going to pay January. But I guess by February, we would have, how would you now say no? You can't intimidate the administration, blackmail anybody. I had somebody say yesterday, oh, the workers were chasing me away. Where was that? I was in the office here. I finished working. At the time I came into the office, there was nobody at the gate. I left to the airport to see Mr. President travel to Turkey. Came back. I've given them the window. You can see me in office today. For tomorrow, if you don't come to work, we're going to apply the big stick. And from tomorrow, if you see anybody who says, oh, he wants to block the gate, we'll make you a scapegoat. The law must take its place.
Welcome back, Mr. Lero Lainka, who is the spokesperson of the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike, joins us in Abuja still. Mr. Lainka, thank you for coming on the program and thank you for your patience.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. How's your day going?
We're going well. So let's begin with the agitation. So now where we are is that the case is in court. Determination and hearing of the originating summons, we understand, is going to be happening in March. The minister, as we heard from that soundbite, is saying, look, for him, he feels that this was getting out of control. He had to resort to litigation to ensure that work continues. But I did hear some of the workers say yesterday, look, that certain persons are still, I think they talk about, is it primary school teachers or some health workers, but generally they feel that they're unhappy, they are being twisted in this sense to resume work. But you are saying that some of these things have been met that you're demanding. So what I would like you to do for us, if you can remember the 14 demands, because we're hearing between 14 and 22, so let's stay with 14. And you said about 10 has been met. Which of these 10 have been met?
Well, I can, like you said, I can relate with 14 demands. One of the demands was this wage award. Wage awards was introduced when the first subsidy was removed. I think it was 35,000 naira was introduced to be paid monthly. Presently, we have like, before now, we had 5 months arrears unpaid. That was before now. And I can also, on that wage award, even federal government has just started paying. I think federal government started paying recently. So, and the minister, the bill was brought, I think about 5 billion naira or something. And the agreement was that the wage award, the five months area will be paid monthly. And the monthly payment started last month. 1 month was paid in December. 1 month is supposed to be paid in this month, in January. Next month, another month will be paid in February, March, April. And probably by April, as January, February, April, January, February, March, April, December, the 5 months will have been paid. So, if government has said, "Oh, you are asking, we have 5 months arrears owed you, and we have started paying 1 month already paid," they can't deny this, and we are going to be paid. We are going to be paying every month. Then, what else do you want government to do? Then the other one, because let me also say this before I continue. There is this mindset that, oh, it is because government is owing salary. No salary is being owed. Government is not owing workers of FCTA and FCDA a dime in terms of salary. The salary that anybody will say be owed probably will be January 2026, which has not ended. Another of the demand was promotion arrears. Promotion arrears, as of December last year, the minister already approved 286.1 million naira for the payment of this arrear. So, if the minister has approved, and it is at the treasury level, payment being processed, what else do you want the minister to do? Another of the demand was that, the minister was extending the tenure of service of civil servant. What this means is that maybe a director, a permanent secretary, who is supposed to retire, let's say tomorrow, and the minister look at this person. This person does his job very well. We are probably not found somebody that will, or the person that will take over from that person will need to still understudy him. And he said, let me extend the service of this person by 6 months, 1 year maximum. And the minister has said that, okay, if you don't want it, I will no longer do it. He has agreed. Another one is that, promotion exam was done. The number of those who passed was about 22.5%. And the question somebody like me have asked is that, what is it the fault of the minister that civil servant went to write promotion exam? Promotion exam was done through it was computer based. You sit down, you write, you answer question, and you get your result immediately. Nobody mark it. Is a computer that mark the question. So, how is it the fault of the minister that you wrote exam and some people fail? And we have also told them that, you said 22.5% fail, and as we have provided evidence, it is not right. In the FCTA, more than 70% people passed. All right, I'm with you.
All right, so it's quite curious that the workers would still maintain their decision to remain on strike if 10 out of their 14 demands had been met. But we did also hear their lawyer say yesterday that they couldn't get audience with the minister. So when did negotiations turn awry if a whole 10 out of their 14 demands had been met?
Is it audience with the minister that they want, or they want positive response to their request? Because me, I don't understand. We keep hearing, minister has not given them audience. Minister did not give you audience. Minister sent people led by the head of service to hold meetings, several meetings with the union leaders. Head of service, chief of staff to the minister, permanent secretary, common services, chairman of civil service commission, permanent secretary, treasury. Those are the people the minister sent, and you are saying that the minister did not give you audience. How else you want him to give you audience? By bringing you to his bedroom to come and sit on his bed and meet? I don't understand. Because if you table demands, and the minister sent people, high-power delegation led by the head of service of the FCT to meet you, and you are saying that the minister has not given you audience. What kind of audience? Except they will also have to, except you have to also call them and ask them what other audience do they need. Because the minister sent people to meet you, and the people met you and told you that, oh, you are asking for this. We have done this. You are asking for this. We're about doing this. One of their requests was that, oh, deduction from the pension deduction, housing fund deduction from their salary are not being remitted. And they asked them, those in the salary department, the treasury people, salary people that are making the deduction, who are they? They are your members. Ask them. The deduction they made from you, where do they keep the deduction? And the government did not stop there. Head of service set up a committee with members of JOAC as part of the committee to look into the issue. Okay, bring the papers, bring your complaint. Let us resolve once and for all. Another issue, and that is what, and this one I want to state clearly. It is the major issue, reason for this strike. It is what they are asking for. Approval threshold for permanent secretary, for heads of for ES, for directors and all that. And why did the minister stop the approval threshold? When the minister came in 2023, they brought a bill of 12 billion. There's something that is called minor procurement. Minor procurement is when directors, permanent secretary give a contract for supply that is less than 5 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. A supply of stationery, supply of computers, supply of tires for vehicles and all that. And they brought bill of 12 billion to the minister that this is what was owed based on minor procurement. Half of that 12 billion was paid in 2023 December. Balance of the payments was made in January 2024. Between January 2024 and May 2024, another 15 billion bill was brought to the minister as bill for minor procurement. And the minister asked that, how can you have this kind of, how can we have this kind of liability when I'm on seat as minister? And I was not aware. And they said it is a contract, it is a supply approved by under this minor procurement. And the minister stopped it. And I want to ask one question. With permanent secretary not being able to approve money, with the director not being able to approve money, how does that stop the salary and allowances of payment of salary of workers? How does it stop? For instance,
just hold on. So let's interrogate.
Let me just finish this, please.
Okay.
I employ you as my gardener. You were the one going to the market to buy tools, to buy herbicide and everything before. And I choose this year, January, I say, oh, I've changed my regulation. No, I will now be the one to go to the market to buy those materials by myself. And you say you are no longer working because you are no longer going to be the one to go to the market to buy those things. The reason for this will be that probably when you go to the market, where you were going to the market before, you were getting some benefit from it.
Your analysis is I know what minor procurement are, and I know there are thresholds, but let's talk about what the civil service rule says. Can the minister exclusively, or maybe by council, decide to cut off the ability to make advances or make procurement or sign off on procurement by law? I am not in public service. I'm asking you because I'm sure you're familiar with it. Because I'm sure directors and all of that should be able to approve certain things.
It is not part of civil service rules. It is management decision. It is decision of the management, and it is the management of the FCT. That is the FCT Executive Committee that will sit and say, oh, we have approved 2 million as threshold. We have approved 3 million as threshold. And the management sat and said, we have cancelled threshold. It is not part of the duty of the civil servant.
So who signs off
at the level
Mr.
of the
Lainka,
management?
sorry, I just want us to have that back and forth a bit. Who now signs off on minor procurements?
Every procurement now pass through the minister.
Every, no matter how small.
Every approval, yes, every approval. You know, there are two ministers, minister and the Minister of State. So, because some of these things are also done for proper control and accountability. You will not be the head of Channels Television, and somebody will bring to you bill of 10 billion naira next month that and without your knowledge.
All right, so
and you clap for that person.
Mr. Lainka, if you're saying or if you're suggesting that what is really at the heart of the matter is, you know, disaffection over approval thresholds for procurement, would that be the reason that hundreds of workers beyond the staff at the management or directorial cadre, hundreds of workers go on strike in the Federal Capital Territory Authority?
You see, don't say, we say hundreds of workers. It is union matter. Once the union will come to, okay, let me also bring to you one of the demands. Another of the demand was that, oh, the PR department of the FCTA should be upgraded to a directorate. Why should that be reason to go on strike? Because why should that be reason to go on strike? Another one is that, oh, Joak have a garden, and that allocation for that garden was revoked. Why should that be reason for workers to go on strike? You have a garden. Allocation to all gardens in the FCT was revoked, and owners of those gardens were asked to come and revalidate, to come to Lands Department to revalidate. People have gone there with their papers. They have been revalidated. Joak refused to go. So, and you are saying because of that, you must go on strike.
If
they say you must go on strike.
If you find their reasons for going on strike unsatisfactory, isn't that really what then this is about? A verdict on the leadership of the minister, which according to the workers is unsatisfactory.
Pardon me,
Mr. Lainka, let me land. And we see it on their placards and in their slogans during the strike. Wike must go. Abuja no be rivers. So perhaps it's a verdict on the increasing unpopularity of Mr. Nyesom Wike.
When you are a civil servant, you are labor because you are members of a labor union, and you are on strike for your welfare. And the next thing you begin to say is that Abuja no be rivers. Wike must go. You now conclude with me that you have already descended into the political arena. And let me also say this, because I want to present issues as they are. They went to NSC to come and to go and complain. And I believe that when they went to NSC to go and complain, what the NSC leadership ought to have done was to have called the other party. My children have come to complain to me that all this is happening. Come and explain. NSC did not do that. NSC just took position. And do you know why NSC took position? NSC is already operating like an opposition party. In this country, NSC is an opposition party. NSC owns Labour Party. And Labour Party is an opposition party. So if you are functioning as opposition party, it is only when you are functioning as opposition party that you now begin to call for the sack of a minister. You now begin to say Abuja no be rivers. How does that affect? What is the correlation between that and your welfare? And you have talked about government not meeting them. Several meetings were held. As at the Sunday before Monday that the strike was declared, there was an arrangement that we will be having a final meeting in the evening so that we can sign MOU. All these things that we have agreed, the one that we have done, you look at them. The one that we have said we'll do next month, we agree. on that Sunday, the labor leaders refused to come to that meeting. They switched off their phones. I'm talking here with facts. They switched off their phone. So if government has come to you, if you have made demands, and government did not say your demands are not tenable, we are not going to do what you are asking for. Government is telling you that, oh, some of these things that you are asking for, we have done. We have done. Some of these things you are asking for, we are already doing. Okay, the other ones we will do. Then why should you go on strike? If there is nothing hidden. If there's nothing, they are not telling the public.
Mr. Lang,
that's what the minister said yesterday.
Just like the minister, okay, you wanted to land on that, where I was going to. I heard the minister say this is turning political. So is it difficult? So this meeting you're talking about, I heard you, but I don't know which of the meetings you're talking. Is this meeting with the minister itself or the people that represent him? That's on one hand. Second is
meeting. They do not need to meet the minister himself.
So that's where I'm going.
The minister sent delegation.
Yeah, that's where I'm going to. Why is it? I'm not saying he must or mustn't, but if there's something about sitting down with the leader of the team, which the minister is, to talk. There's a difference between sending people, right? I'm not saying those things are not proper. But if they are saying, sir, we want to see you face to face, let's trash this out for, maybe there are other things they want to discuss, we don't know. Why is it hard for the minister to sit down with them one-on-one? Is that difficult?
You see, nothing is hard. Nothing is difficult. The minister is available to sit with people. Okay, I'm here now talking on behalf of the minister. Why did you not say that the minister should come by himself? There are people, and when you now also run government in a way that it means the minister has switching not to personalize government. There are people with responsibility. The head of service is the head of civil servant. Is like the governor of the civil servant. So if your own leader, the governor of the civil servant, cannot talk to you, then something is wrong.
Mr. Lanka, sorry, my apologies, Mr. Lanka, before I yield the floor to my colleague. So, political positions are what we call in leadership positional leadership. I have a chairman, which I can interface with when I want to, as long as it's convenient within his schedule. I'm making a moral argument on behalf of the workers. I'm saying that if meeting with the minister, because right now it's a hostile environment, whether you agree with me or not. First, the hostility led to protest and strike. Then the minister said, no, this is not, I'm going to go to court. And he got judgment in his favor, an order of court, pending when the substantive case is determined. And he's now threatening to say, the court has spoken, you cannot disobey the law of the land, come to work. So there's a hostile environment. How do you want to work in that hostile environment if just face-to-face can resolve this issue?
You see, when you send delegation to go and meet people, they bring reports to you. Abi, discussion don't start from the top. You don't start discussion from the top. You start discussion from a level, and it graduates to the top. At that level called, you were comfortable holding meetings with that delegation, with that team. You were comfortable to a level that the team now said, okay, let us meet and ratify everything that we have agreed upon, and we sign and take this thing to the minister. And you went away. You did not attend meeting again. At some point, they were not even picking calls of the head of service. They were not picking calls of the permanent secretaries. So what I'm saying here is that you cannot force me to say you want to enter my house. If I have said that, oh, these people go and represent me, bring report back to me. When those people bring report back to him, if after the report, and if after the report and the minister said, all these things that you have asked for, go and do. So what would that still be need to meet the minister? Because what they want is their request their demands to be met. What they want is for government to do what they are asking for. It is not for us to begin to now personalize government.
So, Mr.
What if the minister had other engagement?
Mr. Lanka, permit me
Yes,
to
I would
double down on Jeffrey's point of positional leadership, what some others will call leadership with a heart. And I wonder if you've been hearing, you know, reports or what's being said in the circles of the workers themselves, concerns around the minister being distracted, spending more time in River State than in the FCT, and of course deliberations on the floor of the House of Representatives, I believe, or the Senate, about Abuja being smelly and all of that. So is there some form of distraction and disconnection between the man who leads the FCT and the workers who are in charge of the running of the operations of the FCT?
If there are distractions, will salary be paid as at when due? If there are distractions, will the wage award, will the payment of wage awards, will it have started last month? If there are distractions, would the minister have set up a committee and say, go and meet and report back to me? If there are distractions, would the minister have signed 286.1 million naira for the payment of area promotion areas? If there are distractions, there are people who have worked in Abuja Broadcasting Corporation for more than 15 years as temporary staff or contract staff. If there are distractions, would there have been an approval of the minister for them to be converted to permanent staff, which was done like 4 or 5 weeks ago? If there are distractions for the minister, would the minister have been able to approve promotion of over 2,000 FCT workers? You see, people like to. That's why I said workers should be mindful of descending to the political arena. The minister is a politician and is from Rivers State. He was appointed a minister because on the slot of Rivers State. So if he has chosen not to turn himself to Abuja politician like most people do, he goes back home on weekend, relate with his people and all that. How is that distraction? And you mentioned Abuja being dirty and all that. Well, you are aware that those who were handling waste management before, that new people were contracted to handle waste management. He met with them twice and gave them marching order. You must clear all this debt. And if all of us must also agree and be honest, there have been a bit of improvement on the issue of waste management. At least I also live in Abuja. I pass through the roads. I know that there are areas where even me have personally complained, and I've seen improvement. So if there is distraction, would there have been this level of infrastructural development in the FCT? Tomorrow we are going to be giving out, the FCT will be giving out ambulances to hospitals in Abuja. If we have distraction, will they have been able to do that? So that's why I said I want to also repeat this. Civil servants should restrict themselves to their responsibility. Leave politicians to do their job.
As we begin to wind down, let's talk about what kind of environment we expect to see from today. The workers are not happy with the Honorable Minister Nyesom Wike. He's also angry with them. That's why he took them to court, and he's gotten judgment, or order rather, and he's threatening them that, look, let me see you not come to work, and let me see anybody come and block this gate. So it's a very hostile environment right now as we speak. How does he intend to manage this kind of situation by force?
Nobody is managing anything by force. If he's managing by force, he won't be in the office yesterday to approve payment of salary of January. He's not managing anything by force. But there is a minimum standard. If you are on strike, if your union is on strike, it is not for you to come and block gates and prevent other people from gaining access. For instance, the FCT, where we have the FCT, also have Ministry of Agric. The same compound, there's Ministry of Agric. And you are on strike, staff of FCT. Even when you were on strike, the law officers of the FCT were not on strike. They are also a union. They wrote officially that we are not part of this strike. So if you are on strike, it is your right to be on strike. But your strike is for you to stay at home. It is not for you to come and block gate. You see, in this country, we allow a lot of like illegalism, lawlessness. Nobody is saying that you cannot go on strike, but it is your strike, your right stopped where the right of other people start. So the minister is saying, oh, even if you don't want to come to work, even when you are on strike, it was wrong for you to have blocked the gate. And I know that you will not also come on television to come and defend workers who go on, workers who block gate and prevent other people from also going about doing their job. So the environment is not hostile. Staff will come to work and work normally. And let me also tell you this before I leave. I understand the operation of union people. Aluta gogo, aluta gbagba, aluta this and that. Everybody gets interest. The ordinary workers are there waiting for a salary to be paid this week. Oh. Most of them are not they are not even happy with this strike. Oh. Most of them are not happy. Most of them are willing to work. As I speak with you, I was in the office yesterday now. Workers came to work. Staff in my department were at work.
All right. So, Mr. Lanka, we may need to also have an engagement with the representation of JUAC in order to, put things in proper perspective as far as some of the reasons that you have hinted are the real reasons for, this strike and this, union
Probably you can even bring us together. You can bring us to.
With the leadership
you can also
of
bring
the
us
FCT.
together. So when they say they are, we will say our own.
But let's talk about what also seems to be the reason why many do not like the politics of your principal, the minister of the FCT, which is
don't use the word many. Don't use the word. Don't use the word many. If you don't like his politics, say I don't like.
Let me land. It's not about me. If you disagree with what people say, then that's for you. That's on you.
You cannot use the word many.
It is what
many.
It is a healthy consensus that many do not like his politics in Rivers State, and that's where I'm headed.
To know that plenty people,
if you disagree, it's fine. Right. But let me proceed with my question.
I'm disagreeing. That is what I'm saying.
So it's fine. But can I now proceed with my question? So his politics in Rivers State is where we're headed now, and the presidency has since spoken and asked for respect for the office of the governor of Rivers State, quoting also that Mr. Nyesom Wike is not a member of the All Progressives Congress, even though he works in the cabinet of the Tinubu administration led by the APC, doubling down on the position expressed by the national secretary of the party weeks before that time. So my question is, has the minister gotten the message, and will there be a respite in his perceived interference in Rivers politics through the impeachment notice that the State Assembly has served on the governor of Rivers State?
As a journalist, there is an impeachment notice against the governor. Was he the minister of FCT that sent the notice? Did you see the minister in the House of Assembly? And you mentioned the issue of politics. The House of Assembly in Rivers State are members of which political party? Are they not members of APC? So APC Assembly are saying that they want to impeach APC governor. How should that be my problem now? It is APC. And are we also saying that a governor must continue to spend state resources without appropriation? Because we are, all of us, including some of you that are journalists, I don't understand why we have chosen to be so emotional. Are we saying that a governor should function without statutory commissioners? It is statutory for a governor to have commissioner. Do we have commissioners in Rivers State? The answer is no. Have we had appropriation budget in Rivers State? The answer is no. The Supreme Court said the governor was ruling the state like a dictator. It is the Supreme Court, not me. The Supreme Court said the governor went and demolished the House of Assembly of Rivers State. The Supreme Court went to the extent of almost calling the governor a despot. That was not me. So should we continue to run like this? If you are saying that one person is talking, why not also ask the other person that is in there is the room? Why are you not doing the right thing?
Can I quickly follow up on that? Now, at different times,
yes,
4 lawmakers, state assembly lawmakers in Rivers State, decided to a different path, seeking a political solution to the crisis in Rivers State. And what, if it had been accepted, would have been a tolerance, if you like, of the public spending without appropriation that you're talking about. So why, in 2 questions now, why would an APC-led state assembly continue a probe of an APC governor? That's on the one hand. Why a political solution for allegations as grievous as spending without appropriation?
So because we are a staff of Channels Television now, God forbid, if a staff of Channels Television commit murder, you will not use the news, you will not talk about it, you will now say because the person is the staff of Channels Television that he has committed murder, he should be left to go. So because they are APC House of Assembly members, and when they have a governor that is running the state illegally, they should not do what the Constitution said they should do. You understand? You see, some of these things we get too emotional. And let me also deviate a little bit. Governance is not what you just, it's not a rocket science. It's about managing people. If I am a governor and I have 32 members of House of Assembly, like they have in Rivers State. Now, you need by constitution, you need 12 to form quorum to be able to sit. 1/3. You need 22 to pass your budget. To be able to impeach you, 22 members are needed. The first thing I would do is to get 12 assembly members to my side. Did the governor do that? He did not. Instead, he had 4. Out of the 4, instead of him to now look for another 8 and join, so that he can at least sit well, he now removed one of the 4 and appoint him, and he appointed that person as chief of staff. That is not a wise political decision. I won't function like that. If I am a governor, I will not send 100,000 naira to House of Assembly members during Christmas to their account. I won't do that. If I'm a governor, I will go to the house of those lawmakers. We will interact with them, talk to them as colleagues, and don't forget that some of these House of Assembly members are even senior politically. They are his political seniors. That is the truth. So to relate with them, you have to bring yourself. Sorry, yes. Like the former governor of the state said, he said this person should bring himself down from his political house of arrogance. The problem of Rivers State is for the governor to solve. He is the one that can solve his problem.
Mr.
Is not the governor.
Yes, Mr.
Laika is not in the House of Assembly.
I don't want to go to all the merits of the argument of presenting budget. Of course, the House of Assembly has a right to oversight the governor. They have the power of the purse. I know that National Assembly had passed the budget. The issue of commissioners, we can go on and on. But you and I cannot sit on national television, Mr. Laika, and deny that Nyesom Wike, the Honorable Minister, is not involved deeply in the politics of Rivers State. He has said even in media pally that he wanted the man gone. Just hold on.
Why is he not from Rivers?
So because you were saying, when my colleague, you were saying, is he the one that served the impeachment notice?
No,
there?
No.
What I'm saying,
I've not denied the fact that he's involved. He has to be involved.
He's deeply involved.
I'm also involved in the politics of Ekiti State. I'm also deeply involved in the politics of Ekiti State.
Okay, where I'm going to with my
deny that.
Where I'm going to with my question is when we begin to raise the argument of, oh, you leave the FCT minister. No, we can't leave him because this battle is between him and his political godson.
My brother.
Yes.
My brother.
But can I ask my question so that I answer everything one time? Just hold on, sir.
Ask your question.
My question is about what I perceive to be a proxy signaling of the presidency. First, it was Dr. Bashir, Senator Bashir, who said to the minister, we don't know you as a registered member. We can speak on the issue of our party. And in his last paragraph, in that his statement, he said, if you're preoccupied with the issue around Rivers politics, resign from this government. Buala was interviewed on our platform, and he said the minister has been adequately compensated. That is, allow the governor to rule. That's why I said I do not want to go to the merit. But do you think that the presidency is indirectly sending a message to Nyesom Wike to taper or back off?
There are things I will not come on this station to say. I know this political game very well. Lou. I've been around for a very long time. I know when people come and talk, when another thing happen behind the closet too. The one that people will come and talk on television will be different from the one that is happening. No? And on this River State issue, what people have come to tell you on television is different from what is happening. And the person of the governor knows that what. Okay, let me say this again. You have mentioned about Wike issue Kinikon. If I am a minister and you are a governor and I'm able to control your House of Assembly, then something is wrong with it. It is because you are weak. If you are weak, accept that you are weak. If I am here in Abuja and I'm the one controlling 27 members of your House of Assembly, you only have 3, and the 3 are not even coming to the house again. So that means the entire members of the House of Assembly are the one controlling, and you are the governor of River State. I beg, you should agree and admit that you are weak. So and you should come to me and prostrate and do toilet. Wait, and do toilet for me, Oga. Help me.
I'm sorry, sir. I think that is not debatable, which is why people are feeling that Nyesom Wike should give the governor a breather. First, he controls the assembly members. Just hold on, sir. He controls the assembly members. He controls all the local government, literally the entire political structure. So what then is the problem?
If he controls the political structure and you are the governor, then you should come to the, if I'm the one controlling all this structure in your state and you are still the governor, then you should, if you are wise, you should come to me and do the one that the driver people will say, do toilet for me like this.
So the governor should come and beg the minister.
Carry your leg up.
Mr. Laika.
So he should come and beg now.
The governor should come and beg the minister.
Mr. Laika, have you now acknowledged by proxy that this impeachment notice
is governor, listen. If you are a governor and you cannot control any structure in your state, then what kind of governor are you? Then if another person is controlling your structure, it means that the person is stronger than you politically.
So
come and do toilet for the person now.
So is this an acknowledgement in the reverse that Mr. Nyesom Wike is the one actually behind the impeachment of the River State governor?
It is the House of Assembly is behind the impeachment too. So if Fubara does not want impeachment, he knows what to do. He knows political navigation. He should know. Don't come and be whipping public sentiment. If you know that I'm stronger than you, come and beg me now.
We are saying you have said now that the governor of the state should come and beg the minister because the minister is controlling the structure. So it's an interesting day. You know, I understand Rivers politics. I was born and bred in that city, so I know the nooks and crannies. I don't want to talk the politics today, but we have delved into that politics. But it's interesting days ahead, Mr. Laika. Let's hope there will be peace. So right now, I was just asking about the signaling. Although you navigated, you didn't answer the question. I'm saying the president may be telling him, you know, Farabale. I don't know.
You said the president may be telling him. But I also told you that a lot of things that that people come on television to say is different from what happened behind the scene.
All right, interesting days ahead, Mr. Laika. We will continue. We'll continue to engage and see how this plays out. Larry Laika is a spokesperson of the FCTA minister, Nyesom Wike. Always a pleasure to have you on the show. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
We'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll switch gears from there to Anambra State. We started off that conversation yesterday where the commissioner said that about 8 billion naira is lost to sit at home every Monday. Well, let's talk to the people in the market. What are they feeling about this with what has ensued so far? Join us in just a moment.
Welcome back. It's still the morning brief right here on Channels Television. If you've just joined us, you've missed quite a bit. It appears the Wednesday morning is beginning on a heated note. We wonder how it will play out eventually through all of the conversations. But of course, it's pregnant with promise, with a lot more to come. And speaking of what is to come, we did begin this conversation yesterday on the program when we spoke with Commissioner Lomefo from Anambra State, following that routine monitoring carried out by the governor of Anambra, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, of the Onitsha main market. And it was, of course, discovered the continuous observance of the Monday sit-at-home order that is usually observed in much of the southeast. And of course, the governor was irked by this and ordered a shutting down of the Onitsha main market, and indeed leave a stern warning that monitoring would continue, and if it is discovered that the traders continue to observe the Monday sit-at-home order, then there would be subsequent closure of the market. And so, from some of the things, the positions expressed by Commissioner before yesterday, we thought it important to also capture the perspectives of the traders. What exactly is informing the continuous compliance with the Monday sit-at-home order, especially when you consider the continuous loss to the Anambra economy, not just the Anambra economy now, the entire southeast region. So we have joining us on this particular one, Mr. Gibson Okafor, a major stakeholder on Onitsha main market, who joins us virtually from Anambra State. Mr. Okafor, thank you so much for finding time to join us this Wednesday on the program. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
All right. So let me start from what is a very critical position expressed by the commissioner yesterday. And he did say that, look, this is all political and the deliberate, without quoting him copiously now, defiance, of the government's instruction to return to open the market on Mondays because security has been guaranteed. And so is that the case? Why the continuous compliance with the Monday sit-at-home if your security is guaranteed?
Well, what you people will know is that the sit-at-home is almost about 5-6 years ago. It's not just what you can stop easily. You cannot stop it easily, just like that. But what governor is doing is for us and for the traders with the government. What a governor is doing is good. But the only thing there is to stop market 1 week or 1 month cannot help us, because when you stop it 1 month or 2 or 1 week now, the people buying goods coming outside the Anambra State, coming to Onitsha to buy goods, may go to another place for that 1 week. And when they go to another place for that 1 week to buy goods, they may decide to be going there and leave our own side of Anambra State. That is the problem. So that's what we have to be gradually to regain that Monday. That's what governor is doing, not bad.
But that doesn't address the question. Help us understand the continuous observance of the Monday sit-at-home order if security is guaranteed for all traders. Why don't they come out on Mondays?
Well, governor promised for security. He promised so. But only what he will do, because some people are coming from Mbo, Asaba, all over around. They have to try to get the transporters so they can enter, try to put security around those places so that they will come to market. Because they don't see security men and the transporters, they can never try to come to main market. They have to put everything in order so they will have the way to come. But the security, governor promised us that. That's what I heard from them.
So if I catch your drift, it's not just about security within the main market, but the traders are coming from far distances, and their security on the travel route, through the travel route, is not guaranteed. If that is the case, if that's what you're saying, explain to us what security along travel routes from Asaba, Mpo, and all the other parts where the traders come from, what security looks like from those routes.
No, he promised us that, but we haven't seen it. He promised that he will put security all over the roads, but we haven't seen it because, like yesterday, before yesterday, people coming don't see security men on the road. That's what they are saying. Mm.
So what's security like on those routes? Have there been attacks on Mondays? Is that why they do not, they choose not to, come to the market on Mondays?
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Did you hear me?
Hello?
Have there been attacks?
Yeah, I didn't hear you well.
Have there been attacks on those routes on Mondays in the past? Hence the reason those traders refuse to come to the market on Mondays?
No.
So there have been
no... The problem why this Monday sit at home, it didn't start a day. It just didn't start just a day. We're having a problem with security then, but now Governor Soludo have put security everywhere. But that Monday sit at home, they have to increase it and tell the banks to open. Because when the bank is closed, our customers in the market, because they don't have money to buy any goods. That's the problem. They will tell the banks to open on Mondays. So the business will go.
Mr. Okafor, please be clear in your explanation. In one breath, you say that Governor Soludo has provided security. In another breath, you say you haven't seen the security on those travel routes through which the traders come to work, that it was promised, but it hasn't been seen. So which exactly do we go home with?
Yes. Exactly what we go home with is that, as far as I'm concerned, we have security in Anambra State. But particularly that Monday, people don't come out, and none. So is telling people to come out on Monday. You have to put security on roads on Monday. That's the problem. But we have security in Anambra State.
So if you were to advise the governor, that means...
That particular Monday I'm talking of.
Just a moment. So if you were to advise the governor, do you agree with him that shutting down the market for, I don't know how long, he said 1 week, let's see whether it will get to 1 week, is it a right move to be able to send a message to the people? Because by your admission, he said specifically the problem is on Mondays, and even from where people are coming from to buy goods in that main market, there are issues of insecurity. So shouldn't the government had known this to provide security so that all of this would have been sorted rather than this move to shut down the market entirely?
Exactly. Because to shut down the market entirely, it's just putting fire to fire. Because for 1 week, if this our customers coming inside Onitsha main market, if they didn't come from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they will find another route to buy goods. They will find another route to buy goods. So we don't need to stop them from Monday to Saturday. The only Monday we are adjusting. We are coming out small. So it's not what we can do just a day. It's not what we can do just a day. So it's just what we can do by gradually,
so,
not stop the...
So what
for 1 week? No, it's not good. I don't buy the idea.
All right, so apparently a lot of people, because if the government is saying that Mondays you lose, by their own estimation, you lose about 8 billion. So if you do the math, it's almost 50 billion in, say, 6 days, maybe around 47, 48 billion in that sense. So that's a huge economic loss as far as that market and the entire state, perhaps by extension, the region will be losing. And that's quite significant. What conversations are going on as we speak with the governor concerning this closure of the market from the management of the market itself?
Come again.
I'm saying that, is the market management discussing with the governor to take a second look at his decision to close the market for a week?
Correct. The Commissioner for Commerce, SPAD, came on Thursday, I think Thursday last week, and telling us about that we are open market on Monday. That's the message governor gave him to send to us. Then Thursday, maybe, you know, some people have gone to village for burial and so on. Then Friday, you won't see them. Only at that Monday, they come and close the market because they didn't. The trader didn't come out. A few people come out. I myself come out. I open my shop, but I know a few people come out. That's why the closed store, because say you have to have about 50% of traders open their shop that Thursday, but we didn't make it.
All right, Mr. Kafo, I believe the images we're seeing on our screen now is that of a typical Monday during which the traders did not come out, and if any came out at all, just a few. Those we're seeing on our screen look more like bystanders, or like what should be major stakeholders in the Onitsha main market. So I'd like you to tell us, or explain to us, why the banks too did not open on Mondays. Is it a matter of security?
That's a very long story. Everybody knows why traders didn't open markets on Monday by the IPOB.
No, Mr. Pardon me, Mr. Kafo, can you hear me?
I'm hearing you now.
Why do the banks also not open on Mondays?
It's from myself, IPOB. Yes, that's it.
In spite of the assurances of the government that there is security, why do they not open? We understand the history behind the Monday sit at home. But in spite of the assurances of the government that there is security, why do the banks fail to open on Mondays?
Okay. If banks open on Monday, if we have security, people will come out. But the only problem is the transporters. He will engage transporters because he can never take rent from Ogidi. Some are coming from Ogidi. Some are coming from others, and they are coming from very, very far place to come to market here. Because some leave their town to come market. So you have to put security around on all that places and ginger the transporters to.
So are you saying that the government is not being forthright when it says that there's assurance of the provision of security on Mondays? You're saying that there is no security on Mondays, hence even the banks fail to open because their security is not guaranteed on Mondays.
That is true. That is true. That is true. We don't see any security on Monday. If security will be on every road on Monday, people will come out.
Okay, so Mr. Kafo, yesterday we interviewed Mr. Mefo, who is the Commissioner for Information. He said there is adequate. I asked him what kind of security. He said there's army, there's police, there's Agune Chemba. He mentioned all of this around the market and all of that. So from his own position, it feels like the government has done just about enough to give a sense of security, because he talked about the issue of there's no need for the fear factor. So what are the things that the markets, the people in the market are seeing that makes them feel like, look, despite what you're putting up here, we don't feel safe coming out?
They are around market. What of the roads they follow to come market? They fear there. Market is safer than road. Than coming from Awada, all this. The market is safer. If you enter main market, you are safe. We have internal security in main market. You are safe. You come if you around all the roads. If you enter market, main market, that side market, you are safe. Is the problem is where are they coming from? is there any security around all the roads they are coming? That is where we have problem, not in the market.
Well, I'm wondering what to make of some of the submissions that you have, put through to us, especially when we compare yours with the position expressed by the Commissioner Lome for yesterday on the program, who insisted that security has been made available, and in fact, should there be any concern, the nearest police formation from the Onitsha main market is about 5 minutes. And so we hope that the government has also, captured some of your own concerns on this particular segment of the program, and more constructive conversations can be had going forward. We've been talking with Mr. Gibson Okafor. He's a major stakeholder from the Onitsha main market in Anambra State. Thank you for your time on the program.
Thank you.
And from this point, we'll be moving on to the next leg of our conversation, which will center, of course, on security. How do we use AI to tackle insecurity? Stay with us for answers. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. Let's talk about how we can enhance national, state, local security with the use of technology in this age of AI and all of that. So let's bring in our guest, who is a technology strategist and AI researcher, Mr. Olufemi Ario. Mr. Ario, thank you for coming on the program.
Nice to be here this morning.
I think it just ties into our previous conversation. The reason why Onitsha main market, which is one of the biggest markets perhaps in the whole of West Africa, is being shut down by the government. It says it's going to leave it shut for 1 week. The reason is because of the IPOB sit-at-home that has crippled economies for the last maybe 3 years plus or more. Many years, I can't remember the number of years now, where market people don't just generally come out because of the fear for their lives. But the government are saying, we have provided security, so what exactly is your problem? But the market people are saying, yes, you provided security inside the market, but we can't guarantee what happens before we come to the market and after we close from the market on Mondays. So we better stay home. If there was some intervention in terms of technology for reassurance, what would it be? This is a case study.
The thing about the case you talked about is when it talks about the way technology comes in, especially new technologies like AI and all of that, is that information becomes more powerful. Beyond it just remaining at the data level, it now becomes insight. You can track movements, you can track who does what, when they do what, and you can even predict, because these things have patterns. There are patterns to them, which is very difficult for the human to understand. And because machines can now think. You see, sometimes you search the internet and you see thinking. It's because it's processing from a variety of information and trying to use internet available data synchronized with the power of the model to predict. And then it gives you very intelligent responses. So this case study you talked about now, when you have the data, instead of the data just remaining as data, there's information in silos. But this data is not amounting to anything. You can't make a decision with it. But when you now have technology there to help human beings to process insights from the data, then you can make a whole lot of better decisions. And I think that's the role
so in this case, what kind of information would the Anambra State government, the relevant security agents in Anambra State, be needing to tackle the security concern from the Monday sit-at-home compliance? What kind of information do they need?
So different types of challenges have different types of requirements. Like, for instance, there are tips, but do the people trust the Anambra State government enough to provide those tips? There are informations available in different positions with different people. But can they, sometimes when you're looking for a criminal, you place a price on them. and then the information will always come because somebody wants that price. Someone has access to that information. It may be an insider with them, and he's ready to sell out.
Okay, so let's paint a mental picture. You know, as Jeffrey explained, they're saying that their security on their way to the market cannot be guaranteed, and their security upon exit cannot be guaranteed on a Monday. So in tackling the security concern en route to the market from the different locations, be it in Mpo, he mentioned Mpo, he mentioned Asaba. So that means that some traders come from far off Onitsha. So what are the things that they would need, and where would the technology intervention come in here to tackle it sufficiently?
So the thing about some of the things we've just talked about is that there are different security agencies that are doing different things. Like the police is with the grassroots, the direct, what's happening, crime, who was arrested, if they were tried, whatever, all that information is with them. The NSCDC also has their own work. The Nigerian Army has their own work. But all these agencies are working and they have genuine information, but this information is not shared. It's just resident with them. And you can't make any much sense with them. There should be tiered sharing levels. There are information you cannot share, like who gave the tip. The anonymous has to remain anonymous, the human intelligence. But these days, the trust line has been broken because people's information have been shared as the people who gave the information. So when technology is going to be used, that has to be guaranteed that the human intelligence will never be shared. Once human beings know that, communal intelligence is actually what keeps the environment safe. We are the people who live there. We are the people who experience the challenges. We know where it pinches. And we are the best people to solve our security issues. So if those people are removed from that equation, security agencies can do very little. Weapons can do nothing. Because you can't just deploy weapons and start shooting at sight. You need to know targeted, and you need to act with intelligence. And this insight is what technology helps us to decipher from a plethora of large database of information that doesn't mean anything to a human being. Technology can help us to see patterns. Because you also agree with me that when it comes to crime, there is proceeds of crime and there is the benefits you get, which makes it such that whoever perpetrates that crime wants to follow that pattern to get to the result because it sees this works. So they want to try it again. When you have technology there, technology helps you to deduce those patterns and also helps you to predict, oh, if this thing happens like this, then there's a likelihood that it can happen like this. And you can also deduce hotspots to say, this can be a likely hotspot. And this is what AI comes to do. It comes to enhance. Imagine a junior officer who is just coming in and now has access to technology and AI. AI helps them to think at expert level, like the McKinsey case. A junior officer is working at expert level because he has access to information that is used to train machines. And the machine can work at faster speed processing than human beings can. And this is the advantage. AI is not going to take the place of humans. It's rather going to enhance our work and make it much, much better.
Let's go to another practical situation, which is what Nigerians, the average Nigerian doesn't seem to agree, understand, and accept. And it's common sense not to agree to, because it's just difficult that with this age of all the technologies we have our BVN, we have our NIN, we have all sorts of data all over the place connected to our phones and our bank accounts. Yet, a mass number of people, as much as 300, 150, will come to maybe one hinterland somewhere in the north or north central or where, pick people, take them away, and then families or whoever will go to get their people and pay ransom. And then you're wondering, how did they pay the ransom? I have a friend who was kidnapped, and I know how many millions he spent to get himself out. There were phone call conversations. There was a point to pick up the money, drop off the money, get him from the boat and bring him home after 50 days. So, is it difficult for government to use AI and technology to really, really take out criminality, or we're just joking around? Or it's more complex than we think it is?
So from what you've even said now, you shared a lot of insight. You've talked about a pattern. But that pattern is isolated. It probably with the police. You just share the pattern now. Pick up, drop off, collection of money. There's a pattern. And that pattern is needed for other security agencies to take action. They may not have the gadgets to take the action, but they need to be fed with the insights from that pattern you just described. Even the collection of money, you have the experts there, you have the EFCCs of this world. They have expert information. They can tell you what's happening to the money. They can tell you how it relates to the BVN. And all of that is trackable today. But that information is not available to the police. So they don't even know that this is how much was collected. They will need to be asking the victim when the harm has already been done. So what I like to say, how I like to see it is that security, crime has gone on mobile. Crime is now gone on social. Crime is now connected with the internet. So it's now very sophisticated. Security too needs to be connected on social, on mobile, and it needs to become that sophisticated. It cannot afford to remain isolated. So currently it's my data, my power. The information of the police stays with the police, and then there's the Office of the National Security Advisor that is now being fed. That is probably maybe every now and then the heads go there. This thing doesn't need to be static like that. It needs to be dynamic. It needs to be realistic. It needs to be real-time information share. So like this information you shared now, probably there was a bus stop that was used. That bus stop at 4 p.m., 4:15, people usually come there closing from work. And then maybe it was a one chance where they just come with an almost empty bus. These patterns have been relayed by those that incident happened to. But what was done with the information? At best, it just remains at the level of the information.
Okay, so this is where you come in. You said something significant moments ago, that crime is now sophisticated, dynamic, social. Hence, security also has to become social. So is this something that a security app, for instance, can aid in tackling?
So I like to use the word app with carefulness, because if someone who is about to commit kidnapping finds the app on your phone, they would act more decidedly, probably kill the victim. So I would rather use other simpler methods like USSD, SMS, things that you can quickly delete from your phone, not apps that are more permanent on your phone. Things like WhatsApp. Maybe there's a WhatsApp line you can send distress to. You just press a single button on your phone and security agencies are alerted on your location, and it gives real-time information access. And then you are already on the way. Security is getting to you already. But there's nothing like that. And what is good about Nigeria is that we share information. And we share this information on social media, we share it very fast. One of the things that has made kidnapping become a viral thing is there was a time when there was this, and that's what I say about media. Media is very powerful. These days with social, it makes it go on steroids. It means information shared now can be received by somebody in the US now, real time. And this guy was caught by one of the security agencies. And they did a full televising of that moment. He said something that was very emotional and touching. He said his Oga was paying him 20,000 naira for driving him. And when they kidnapped his daughter, he was ready to pay 20 million. He said it just dawned on him that I would die if I continue driving this man. I better just start augmenting myself by doing kidnapping. It took a major security agency in Nigeria to arrest that situation. The police had the information, but there's very little they can do about it. But until they started sharing that information with themselves, that was when they could intercept that kidnapping situation and arrest it. But then there was a training that was done. The whole population was being trained to see that 20,000, 20 million. There's something wrong with my head. Armed robbery is not even paying me as much as kidnapping. Then kidnapping became the in thing. Anybody who has access to weapons wants to try kidnapping out. Because you see young boys building houses.
Yeah, we need more opportunities.
There needs to be a counter culture that needs to be built using technology to man those patterns. And there needs to be a national security data sharing platform.
Yeah, and that's what we would have expanded upon, particularly where harmonization of data.
Harmonizing these dynamics. But we must thank you. I think
but we must anchor at this point.
You made a very vital statement and made great submission. It's an ongoing conversation. When it comes to national security, it never ends until we get it right. Thank you. Olufemi Ario, technology strategist and AI researcher. We appreciate you for coming on the program.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure being here.
Thank you. And that's it on the program for today. Thank you so much for your time and, of course, your usual company. Sunrise Daily is up at the very top of the hour. And Jeffrey, who's on my bye-bye.
Of course, we'll be back again tomorrow. I am Bukola Koka. Bye for now.